She's the Missouri Secretary of State candidate whose shock jock videos are sure spicing up our timelines. Valentina Gomez joins me right here live in Nashville next. But first, a word from our sponsors. Have you ever wondered what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris? I recently saw a video he made and I was shocked because he's in his 80s and still kicking butt and working out and staying active. What's even more shocking is he's stronger, can work out longer, and even has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. He did this by making just one change. He says he still feels like he's in his 50s. His wife even started doing this one thing too, and she's never felt better. She says she feels 10 years younger, her body looks leaner, and she has energy all day. Well, Chuck made a special video that explains everything, so make sure you watch it by going to chuckdefense.com/Tomi because it will change the way you think about your health. Once again, that's chuckdefense.com/Tomi, and you won't believe how simple it is. All right, so usually elections for Secretary of State don't get a lot of attention. Some might even find that race to be maybe a little dull. Well, that was until my next guest, who is running for that post in Missouri, started posting some, well, let's just call them unconventional viral videos like this one.
In America, you can be anything you want. So don't be weak and gay. Stay hard.
Children, Valentina never tells a lie. No hidden agendas, no promises broken.
And there's a whole lot more where that came from, but is Valentina Gomez just an internet shock jock looking for clicks, or is her candidacy and tell it like it is honesty a refreshing change of pace? Well, I'm going to ask her right now because Valentina Gomez, candidate for Missouri Secretary of State, joins me now. All right, so your videos are obviously blowing up on Twitter. There's a little controversy there regarding a famous rapper that I want to get into. But I have to just kind of start off right off the bat because I think anytime that you use the words, and I'm quoting you, weak and gay, you're going to get a reaction. People are going to get really fired up. They're going to get really triggered. So was that the reason why you use those words, or is that something that you often say? Is that kind of your thing?
Tomi, so before I even answer the question, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't because of God. He brought me from nothing to something to everything, and that's what happens when you put him first. And I have made this race the most coveted race in history for the Secretary of State position. I am stating my case before the people. I am bold, and that is why I am able to actually attain the support of millions of patriots, not across the nation, but also across the world. And if we're gonna start making words illegal, then we have a bigger problem in our hands, because free speech has to be protected. And if that hurts you, then you have to know that deep down, there's a bit of truth to it.
So when you say weak and gay, obviously we know what weak is, but when you say weak and gay, are you referring to gayness as actually sexuality, or are you referring to gayness as and what you see as weakness? Or you got to kind of explain that to people, because I think people see that video and they see you calling people weak and gay, and you know, obviously there's going to be a visceral reaction to that, especially in 2024.
Absolutely.
So I want you to explain a little more about what you mean by that.
Yes, and I don't have anything against the gay community. You can be gay all you want. I have released statements on this, but the media continues to attack me because obviously it doesn't fit the narrative. And I'm just saying, don't do it around children. And I can say weak and gay in terms of, that can be weak and gay. It doesn't matter. I can use whichever words I decide to use.
So your videos, beyond just saying, you know, those words, your videos have caught a lot of people's attention because they're unconventional. They show you running. They show you with, you know, heavy firearms, which I have one that I'm going to play in just a moment. But I want to ask you, when you're making these, are you thinking, hey, I'm going to get a lot of reaction for this, or is this something for you that just feels like a natural thing to put out there?
This is me. This campaign is about showing the American people who I am as a human being, what I'm doing outside of work, during work. I put workout videos, flamethrower videos, and I have to show who I am, an authentic person. And that is why my message resonates with millions of Americans. That is why I'm leading in the race, in engagement, in the polls, in endorsements. And, you know, the people are fed up with all the lies that all of these politicians have been funneling for a very long time.
I want to play one of the videos, but I want to go back to that first one that I think has gotten the most attention. I mean, you'd mentioned it got millions of views, but I had to show when I played it, like the cease and desist, because there is a rapper, a singer, entertainer, Lupe Fiasco.
Yes.
He used one of his songs in the video, and you told me people were tagging him saying, "Hey, listen, she's using your song, she's using your song." So tell me what happened next and how this kind of, I guess, quasi feud with Lupe Fiasco went down.
Yeah, Lupe Fiasco is weak and gay. I put it on the tweet. He asked his Sony team that controls him that, I mean, he's not a free man, let's be honest. All of his music is owned by Sony. Nobody controls me. That's the beauty of it. And they decided to send a cease and desist. I respect it. And then I answered back to the lawyer, here's the link. Please acknowledge, confirm. Please take a look at it with my song. Enjoy it. I hope you love it, and yeah, keep watching the race because I'm going to win it.
So, I mean, it's because of the use of the song. So obviously that was triggering.
Yeah.
Got the cease and desist, but you took the song down. You're like, hey, listen, that's fine. But I think a lot of people, when they see that back and forth. They're really not used to that from a
honesty.
candidate. Yeah,
They're not used to the honesty, to showing everything that is happening behind the scenes and in front of everyone. That is who I am. I am somebody who's extremely transparent, and that's exactly what I'm going to do when I become Secretary of State. That hasn't happened ever in history before. And Tomi, just for your information and for everyone else watching, I'll be releasing a new hit with High Res. So
all right.
Get ready. That one is going to hit #1. I already know it.
So what do you say to people that say you're not really serious about being Secretary of State, that this is more about getting attention or making videos, being an entertainer? What do you say to those people?
Well, I'm not backed by any special interest. Millions have already been offered to my campaign, and I've already rejected them. What they don't talk about is my achievements. I'm a former NCAA Division I swimmer. I am fluent in multiple languages. I graduated college at 19 and earned my MBA in finance at 21 from Tulane University. I have multiple homes. I have a full-time job. I am running a successful campaign. I am 25 years old. I am the American dream on steroids. And they don't want to show that face, that side of who I am, because, yes, I don't have any experience in political corruption. That's the problem. I have successful experience in business, in economic growth, on being successful and showing what it takes to achieve the American dream, because nothing has been given to me. Everything has been earned. For me to sit here, it shows something.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to play one of your other videos that's really bold, and a lot
Which
of
one
people
of
find,
them?
yeah, there's a lot of them. They're all very bold. This one, though, I mean, you're kind of telling people, if you want to come after me. This one is specifically directed towards the pro-Hamas folks, the little terrorists, as I call them. Let's take a look at this one.
There's a lot of Hamas people coming for me on my social media. My address is public. Around?
So that's pretty bold. I mean, you're telling people, hey, listen, if you want to come after me, here I am. Are you at all concerned that somebody might take you up on that?
Not at all. I have a security team. I'm ready. My brother is in the military. He's ready to defend me. My house is full of guns. I have dogs. I have cameras. So get ready. I didn't even cross out my address in the cease and desist because I want people to know. You want to mess with me, you know where to find me. I am here and I am not going anywhere.
Has anybody taken you up on that? Have you had anybody show up?
Well, my neighbors love me.
I'm sure. Do they? Is that sarcasm, or do they really love you? Because I can imagine that there might be some folks that, even if they like you personally, might not be super stoked about you putting your address out there and telling people come one, come all.
I mean, St. Louis City is a little blue, but I'm going to turn it red.
Okay.
Yeah.
So nobody's showed up yet?
No, not really.
Not really.
They know. They know that I don't mess around.
Yeah.
That if you step foot into my property, I'm going to take action.
Yeah.
Be ready for that because I will. I have a family to protect.
I think people are taking you at face value. I don't think anybody's going to, take you up on that. I hope that they don't, because I would hate to see anything like that happen. Yeah. But it's just very interesting to me, and I think to a lot of people, that you are unapologetic. I mean, you're not saying, hey, I should say this differently, or I'm sorry if I offended you. You're saying this is what it is, and if you're offended, I don't care.
If you're offended, be offended. I hope you're offended, because that way you can hopefully work on yourself, and I hope you do.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the honesty. I mean, a lot of people try to walk back. They do something, they get flack, they walk it back. You really are unapologetic, and people got to give you a lot of credit for that, because that's not easy to be. in cancel culture America, I want to talk about somebody else who they've really come after and they've really tried to cancel for many, many years now, and that's Donald Trump. Some breaking news yesterday, unsealed court documents show that FBI raid on Mar-A-Lago, the unprecedented raid on Mar-A-Lago, that they actually authorized, if necessary, the use of deadly force on a former president to go after classified documents. I mean, that to me is wild. He's got Secret Service protection. I'm not sure how this would ever go down, but the fact that that was even on the table for a former president, I mean, when we talk about the deep state and being afraid of it, that's exactly, in my mind, what we're talking about.
It goes to show you the Uniparty is in panic mode, and they're not just coming after President Donald Trump, they're going to be coming after all of us. Whoever's speaking up against the Uniparty, against the establishment, against the corrupt political machine. And we have it here in Tennessee, but also in Missouri. We have it all over the world. And Tomi, let's not forget, we're the majority. They can get brought down.
So why do you think it is that the silent majority, although we always call it the silent majority, why can't we win elections? Why does it seem like every time, Republicans are supposed to win, there's supposed to be a red wave, it just doesn't happen?
Because we don't come together. We have failed to come together because there has been a failure in the leadership. But now under Trump, we can actually hopefully get that done. We have to execute, and execute. That's exactly what the left does. Even with their pervasive ideologies, they come together and they begin their mutilation of children. And as crazy as it sounds, it has worked for them. And we need to take a page out of their playbook and do the exact same thing. But do it for our country, for our future, for our children and grandchildren, so that way they can achieve the American dream that we have already achieved.
Do you think that too many conservatives and Republicans are afraid of being called a name? They're afraid of being labeled? Do you think that that's kind of the root of the problem?
I think that they're workers and that they're afraid of jeopardizing their family, their livelihoods.
Right.
And I don't blame them for that because they actually produce for this society. They are hardworking Americans. And I understand, for example, the left. They're probably on government assistance. They can just keep living off the government of what we produce. So that is what's happening, but we need to start being bold if we want to take our country back. This is the year of common sense, of truth, and of taking out all of the pervasive ideologies that has been put against us.
If you were to name kind of our single biggest threat to this country, what would you select?
Joe Biden and his weak and gay administration.
Okay. Let's unpack that a little bit. In particular, I mean, for me, I say illegal immigration is going to be what does us in. I think there's a lot of things that can be undone. The economy can be fixed with the right leadership. I think that foreign policy can be fixed with the right leadership. I think that pretty much every societal ill can be fixed with the right leadership. Exactly. But illegal immigration is going to take a lot more because it's really hard to move millions and millions of people. Even if you do have mass deportation, we talk about it. I hope President Trump does it, but it's still logistically going to be a real challenge that I'm not sure we really can attain. I don't think there are a lot of Republicans that have the intestinal fortitude to carry out mass deportation. So I would count illegal immigration as our single biggest threat. Beyond that, what do you see? Beyond just Joe Biden himself and beyond just his administration, what is the issue that you think we need to pay attention to?
Well, the issue with that is that they're going to become voters. And they're not going to vote in our way. Now they're going to become the majority. Let's say 20 million people have already immigrated into the United States illegally. They can swing an election very easily in any state. And sadly, if the secretaries of state don't start putting legislation to prevent that from happening, then we're going to have bigger problems because they're going to be voting. And I said this back in December of 2023. Nobody listened. Everyone called me crazy. And you know what? 6 months later, I'm right.
Right. So that's something that you would do in your...
It's under my power, yes.
Yeah, so you would do that. You would make sure you did that. Do you think you get a lot of support in your state with that?
Absolutely. And I'm an immigrant myself.
Right.
I came to the United States legally with my family. I am grateful to this great nation because they have welcomed me with open arms. But now that American dream, the one that I have already achieved, is in danger. And I don't want that to happen. They want to delete what makes America great. The Judeo-Christian values, the American dream, life, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness. So we have to fight back. And that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, I think the illegal immigration issue for me is just top of my list. There's a lot, but I think that it all, you mentioned the ability to swing an election. if we have millions of illegal immigrants in this country and they get voting rights, or even if they're just added to the census and they redistrict, that to me puts in jeopardy every other item on the Republican or conservative America First wish list. Everything is in jeopardy if you don't control illegal immigration and voting and election integrity, which is a whole other can of worms. But I also want to talk to you about something you're passionate about, because I know you are a female athlete. Obviously, your videos show that even though you're, no longer a collegiate athlete, you are very passionate about health and fitness, and you're very passionate about, athletics. And right now, females and women's athletics are under fire. We've got biological males competing against women, and this seems to be not just a one-off anymore. This seems to be a pattern, and if gone unchecked, I think women's sports in the next 5 years is probably going to cease to exist as we know it now. What can you tell us about that, and what would you do if elected to office to combat that?
Well, Tommy, I've been swimming for about 15 years. One of my brothers is an Olympian, and the other one is an NCAA swimmer as well, same as me. Very successful swimmers. I would have never gotten scholarships if I would have had to compete against men. These are weak men that couldn't make it in their sport. So now they have infiltrated ours and beating us, taking our positions, everything, our scholarships, our ways of achieving something in life, because they have mental health issues, and I feel bad for them. But we cannot be nice to them. We cannot have mercy for those that want to take girls' scholarships and girls' places.
Yeah, I think that the reason so many people have a hard time talking about it is because they don't want to seem transphobic or homophobic or any of that. But I don't think it has anything to do with how you view that community. I think it has to do with fairness in sports. And it's weird to me that the feminists have gone silent on this issue. They should be the ones out there, #MeToo, the loudest of the loud when it comes to this particular issue. And I don't know why they're not. But I also want to ask you about this upcoming election and Donald Trump. How confident are you that Donald Trump is going to win in November?
Well, the attacks happening against Donald Trump wouldn't be happening if he wasn't the main runner for this election. So look at what's happening to him. The entire DOJ is weaponized against him. But millions of patriots are supporting him. Even Democrats have turned Republican because they see that what they're doing to him is unfair, is unjust, and it has to end. And our economy, our nation, our elections, we're infested with the worst of the worst. And he said that back in 2016. We didn't listen to him, and now we're paying the price.
Right. Yeah, no, the swamp is real. The deep state, all that we talk about, I think we've had evidence over the last several years. A lot of these conspiracy theories have come true. I mean, they've become true. And, I hate that that's the fact. I wish that they were just conspiracy theories. Somebody else that's controversial like yourself that you voiced support for is Andrew Tate. Now, there's a lot that goes along with him. I appreciate his honesty as well. I think some of the things that he says, I disagree with. I don't think that you need to be an a-hole to get your point across. He certainly does, and it works for him, at least in his world of getting attention and making money for that. But you voiced a lot of support for him. Why is it that you support Andrew Tate?
Yeah, and we don't have to agree with everything that somebody says. I may not agree with everything that you're saying. That's what makes us great human beings. We have to have different perspectives, different beliefs in order to come together and have a discussion. But he's giving great advice to young men. Work on yourself. Put God first. Don't worry about the girls. They're going to come. Work on yourself. Work hard. Achieve your money. And don't waste your time with them while you're young. Learn as much as you can, because the media also attacks them. As soon as you start controlling the youth and the narrative, control the future. So that's what makes him dangerous.
I think he's dangerous for a lot of reasons, but because he is really unbridled and uncensored, and he's going through his own legal issues for a lot of things that I don't know if they're true or they're false or what have you. But, he talks a lot about masculinity. Harrison Bucker recently talked about masculinity and how men need to be proud of their masculinity. And we're becoming a society where men have become softer. And I don't mean softer in that, they're more in touch with their feelings, but just softer all the way around. They don't want to earn, they don't want to provide, they don't want to be men. And that seems to be a real problem worldwide, but also in the United States. Do you think that when it comes to the issue with masculinity, and maybe the issue of women being too masculine, I mean, some people would say, hey, listen, you got a lot of masculine energy. What do you say to that?
Well, I'm actually very feminine, and the problem, Tommy,
I think a lot of people would say, are you sure?
Yeah.
I mean, you look feminine. Don't get me wrong. You're a beautiful woman. But a lot of people would say, hey, listen, this woman's got, BD energy.
Yeah. And Well, I've been very successful, and that takes pens, that takes guts, and you have to go after the corrupt. So you cannot have any mercy for them. They wouldn't take me seriously otherwise. And with men, they have been feminized. That's the biggest problem. And with my video, it hit a lot of buttons because with the weak and gay men, because if that pushed your buttons a little bit, it means that deep down, there's something that you need to work on. And if you're a little offended, good. As a man, you need to be protective. You need to be powerful. And you need to be a dangerous man in order to protect your family and your woman. So we need to bring that masculinity back into the picture, not take it out. I don't want to pay for a guy's dinner. No.
Yeah, that's a real problem right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it really
Or
is.
split the check.
Yeah.
That would never happen with me.
So it's interesting that you say that. And I want to get into that a little bit, kind of unpack it, because I think that you're misunderstood in a lot of ways.
Yes.
People misunderstood me for years, and I stopped explaining myself to people. But as I've gotten a little bit older, I started having more conversations, and people realized that there's another side to me. So I think it's important to dig into that. Something you said there I think is really important, because you're saying, hey, listen, I'm not going to pay for your dinner. I'm not going to split the check. Some people would say that there are a lot of liberal women that are saying the same thing that you are. And I've been told that too. Hey, listen, maybe liberal women and conservative women have a commonality there that, maybe we intersect in certain places. Do you think that that might be possible?
Well, I would have to talk to a liberal woman,
Right.
in order to figure that out. But women, we have our own duties, same as men. We have to respect our spaces. We have to respect our roles. And that's the biggest problem we have in society. We want to be free. We want to have sexual liberation, but it doesn't work that way if you want a good masculine man. So you have to give something in order to get something.
What would people be most surprised to learn about you?
Well, I have 3 dogs. I like to rollerblade. I love competing. I love this nation. And I will do whatever it takes to safeguard it from the people that want to destroy it.
Well, I appreciate your honesty. I mean, it takes a lot to just say, this is who I am. This is what I believe in. I'm not backing down. I'm not apologizing. There's a lot of strength and there's a lot of power in that, even with people that disagree with you. I mean, I think they got to respect, at least that you stick to your guns, quite literally, and you're not making any bones about it. So where can people go to find out more about your campaign, support your efforts, learn more about your platform?
You can find me on X at Valentina4SOS, on Instagram at Valentina4Missouri, or my website, ValentinaForMissouri.com. I'm shadow banned on Instagram, but on X, that's the place to be. I only trust the Bible, X, and my AR-15.
Did you try to post the Week in Gay video on Instagram?
Yeah.
And did they take it down?
They gave me a warning, but they took down my flamethrower video.
Okay, because they said it was
burning,
dangerous.
burning pornographic books. And
Okay.
all of the pedophiles expose themselves in the comment section.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's very interesting. I'm sure that they don't particularly like your posts with firearms either. I'm
They
sure
don't like
that's-
anything that I post.
Yeah, I have a feeling that you're probably going to be one of those folks that is censored a little bit, shadow banned quite a
Yeah.
bit. It's nice though that X people can see exactly who you are and they can get your free speech unbridled for the most part. So that's a great platform for people like you, people like me. I mean, X, we're able to stream this live on X, and people are able to see for themselves, which I think is important, no matter if they love you or they hate you. So
And that's how we got to connect.
Exactly. Well, I think your videos are, I mean, honestly, great marketing, fantastic as far as a campaign ad. You certainly know how to market yourself and get attention to your campaign. So thank you for being in Nashville. Best of luck with your race. Keep being yourself, and thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much. Missouri's back on the map. I mean, we're going to get President Trump back in office.
Hey, I love it. I love
Yeah.
both of those things. I
Yeah.
appreciate it so much.
Thank you, Tomi.
All right, folks, the Biden administration offered condolences over the death of the Iranian president, better known as the Butcher of Tehran, while Biden's UN deputy ambassador observed a moment of silence for said butcher. And I have some final thoughts presented by Roundhouse Provisions. So in news that should be celebrated, not grieved, the president of Iran, also known as the Butcher of Tehran, is dead. We really shouldn't be surprised that the Biden administration expressed condolences over the loss of a terrorist who hates America, But in comparison, when the Trump administration took out Iranian General Soleimani, Donald Trump tweeted an American flag. Simpler times when terrorists weren't coddled and co-signed by the President of the United States. But Biden's camp mourning the loss of a terrorist is par for the course at this point. After all, this is the administration that unfroze $6 billion in assets for Iran on September 11th of last year. This is also the administration that coddles and placates to the little terrorists on college campuses. This is also the administration that is not only opening the border to illegals on the terror watch list, but is also actively shielding their nationalities due to privacy concerns. This is also the party that allows anti-Israel squad members to express blatant anti-Semitism with no repercussions. So I cry not one tear and give not one F when members of that administration reap what they've sowed.
I was saying, the People's Republic of China.
He is a war criminal. He is a war criminal. The blood of 40,000 people is on his hands. The blood of 40,000 Palestinians is on his hands. He is a war criminal. He is a war criminal. Lincoln is a war criminal. The blood of 40,000 people is on his hands.
The Democrat Party has made its bed full of little terrorists, and now they got a lie in it. This is really going to get spicy come DNC convention time in Chicago this summer. You know, I almost feel badly for that party. They got to keep their guy alive and awake and deal with the consequences of their own actions. Like I said, I almost feel bad. Those are my final thoughts. Please be sure to go visit the new Tomi Lahren is Fearless YouTube channel at Tomi Lahren is Fearless and like and subscribe for full episodes. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you right back here live at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. But until then, from Nashville, God bless and take care.